passed away about a month ago. Not going to see my mom this year.
It's bad. It's just a bad situation. For a female, you really have to be careful out here. You learn to sleep with one eye open. You learn that a smile can be a trap, and that silence is often safer than speaking. Anything can happen in the blink of an eye. My mother passed away just a month ago, and the hardest part isn't the hunger or the cold. It's the fact that I'll never see her again as she was. I'm just trying to survive, going through the motions, try to find clothes to keep the wind out, try to find $1 for something to eat, try to find a reason to keep breathing when the world feels like it has already stopped turning. These are the words of a woman standing on the corner of Kensington and Allegheny Avenues. She is 32 years old, but the lines on her face tell a story of a century of sorrow. Her name could be Sarah, or Jessica, or Maria. Her name is less important than her reality. A reality that thousands of Americans are waking up to every single morning. The initial path into dependency is ultimately irrelevant. Whether it began with a prescription for a back injury, a youthful experimentation, or a way to numb the trauma of a violent past, the starting line has faded into history. Once this relentless cycle takes hold, the familiar world you once inhabited simply dissolves into nothingness. Picture waking each morning with a singular, consuming objective, merely escaping the torment of physical and mental distress, if only for a fleeting 60 minutes. Your employment vanishes first. The alarm clock stops mattering. Then, your family connections unravel. Phone calls go unanswered, holiday invitations stop coming, and the bridges back to your old life are burned one by one. Eventually, the very essence of your identity, your sense of self, completely erodes. You cease to truly live. Instead, you merely perform the desolate rituals of survival, a relentless quest for sustenance, for a meager piece of fabric to cover yourself against the Philadelphia chill, for a solitary dollar to stave off the sickness. I utterly despise it. This is not a lifestyle. This is a devastating affliction, a disease that relentlessly strips away every vestige of your life until you find yourself stranded on a street corner in Kensington, Philadelphia, grappling with the incomprehensible transformation of the American dream into such a profound nightmare. Welcome to Homeless US. I am Jack. Today, we are taking you to Kensington, a neighborhood that has become one of the most visible symbols of a national crisis. In Kensington, life does not hide behind closed doors. It unfolds entirely in public. Sidewalks are transformed into bedrooms. Street corners become spaces of extreme exhaustion. You will see people standing motionless for hours, caught in an unnatural trance, while the rest of the world drives past in a rush to get home. Kensington is often labeled as the largest unregulated open-air market in the United States. But that label only scratches the surface. To reduce this community to a marketplace is to ignore the profound humanity that still exists here. The deeper reality is a humanitarian emergency pushed into the spotlight. In Philadelphia, over 5,700 people are experiencing homelessness, and Kensington is the concentrated epicenter. Here, the struggle for housing and the grip of physiological dependency feed into one another, creating a cycle that feels impossible to break. Stay with us until the end as we confront the reality behind the headlines and uncover the humanity that still endures in a place most people pass by without stopping. Part 2. The Anatomy of Extremes, the Concentrated Crisis. To understand the scale of the Kensington fracture, we must look at the physical and social topography of this 1.5 square mile area. It is a tight-knit grid of brick row houses, shadowed by the elevated train tracks that cut through the sky like a scar. With a population density of nearly 25,000 residents, Kensington is a community that is currently bearing the weight of an entire city's crisis. Imagine waking up not in a warm bed with the smell of coffee brewing, but on icy pavement with the smell of exhaust and damp cardboard filling your lungs. Imagine a father huddled under a worn-out blue tarp, his arms wrapped tightly around his child to protect them from a pouring rain that has turned the alleyway into a river of refuse. This is not a dramatization for a movie. It is the visceral reality of 2026. Municipal figures estimate that at any given time, 800 to 1,000 people are living without shelter in this small radius. As national homelessness surged by 18% in recent years, Philadelphia's unsheltered numbers climbed by a shocking 38%. But numbers on a page are sterile. They do not convey the feeling of wet socks that never dry. They do not convey the fear of the night. Kensington absorbs 35% of that citywide crisis. On a single boulevard, police logs have recorded nearly 200 people living in makeshift camps. These encampments are not just collections of tents. They are communities of survival. These are genuine individuals with stories that matter. You meet retired mill laborers who are tied to the district's waning manufacturing legacy. People who once built this city, who welded the steel and laid the bricks, and now have no place for them. You meet mothers pursuing postponed aspirations. Women who once dreamed of being nurses or teachers, now focusing all their energy on surviving the next 24 hours. You meet young adults escaping unstable households, foster care systems that failed them, or families that crumbled under economic pressure. All of them are pulled toward this tenuous circle of aid. A single displacement, sparked by a rent hike of $200 or a lost job at a warehouse, can demolish a life in an instant. The tents that clutter the walkways are not just obstacles for pedestrians. They are bold indicators of a profound fracture in our society. They are flags planted in the concrete, signaling that the safety net has torn and people are falling through. This environment creates a unique ecosystem of extremes. You have the extreme poverty of the street dwellers clashing with the gentrification efforts encroaching from the south. You have the extreme noise of the train clashing with the extreme silence of the comatose figures on the benches. It is a sensory overload, a place where the visual language of despair is written on every wall and in every face. Part 3. The Chemical Ravager, the Grip of Dependency. We cannot discuss Kensington without confronting the chemical ravager that patrols these streets. Within the 75-block zone of Kensington, a persistent cycle of dependency exists, driven by a highly visible market where high-potency substances are traded openly. This is not a hidden underworld. It is an economy that operates in broad daylight, often within sight of law enforcement and local businesses. This unregulated market lures visitors from far beyond the city limits. This is a phenomenon sociologists call substance tourism. It entices people with prices that are often half or even a third of what they would find in other regions. People arrive from the greater Philadelphia suburbs, from Delaware, from New Jersey, and even as far as New York City. Many arrive with limited intentions, expecting a brief engagement, a weekend trip to score cheap relief. But the chemical hook is deeper than they anticipate. They quickly find themselves drawn deeper into a pattern of reliance due to the abundant supply and the ease of availability. What starts as a visit becomes a residency. The weekend trip turns into a lost decade. There are over 80 active points of exchange in this neighborhood, contributing to a shadow economy valued at over $1 billion annually. But the true cost is not measured in dollars. It is measured in human lives. These are everyday individuals who arrive with a flicker of optimism that slowly fades into a quiet longing for stability. It is crucial to understand the pull factors here. It is not just the substance. It is the community of shared suffering. For someone who feels ostracized in their suburban home or their workplace because of their struggle, Kensington offers a twisted form of acceptance. Here, no one judges you for your usage because everyone is fighting the same battle. It is a soft nudge that life's unforeseen stresses, a death in the family, a lost career, physical pain from an injury, could involve any of us in a comparable situation. The substances circulating today are not the substances of 10 years ago. They are synthetic, potent, and unpredictable. This volatility means that every dose is a gamble with mortality. The medical teams in the area are not just treating addiction. They're treating toxic exposure. They're treating chemical burns. They're treating a physiological crisis that the medical books are still trying to catch up with. On Homeless US, we view this dependency not with judgment, but with the compassion essential for progress. We recognize that pain seeks relief. When a medical system fails to provide safe relief, the street provides a dangerous alternative. Part 4. The Stance of Despair, Physiological Impact. Perhaps the most haunting sight in Kensington, the image that stays with visitors long after they leave, is what we call the stance of despair. Along the mile-long stretch of Kensington Avenue, you will see individuals slumped in contorted postures, their bodies rigid as if frozen mid-motion. Some stand bent at the waist for 20 minutes at a time, their fingers grazing the tops of their shoes, defying gravity. Others lean precariously against walls or fences, their eyes closed, lost in an internal void. This is not a theatrical exaggeration. It is the visible impact of powerful chemical mixtures that disrupt the human nervous system in ways that defy comprehension. These states often stem from high-potency synthetic opioids mixed with potent veterinary sedatives. This specific combination induces a state of catatonia and prolonged immobility. The sedative slows the heart rate and drops the blood pressure, while the opioid disconnects the pain receptors. The result is a body that is present, but a mind that is absent. By 2025 and 2026, these sedatives were detected in nearly 90% of the city's tested samples. These episodes can last for hours, leaving people bent forward in painful angles. Medically, this can lead to blood clots, muscle breakdown, and nerve damage. Socially, it leaves them exposed and vulnerable to the elements and to theft. A person in this state cannot defend themselves. They cannot run from danger. They are statues of flesh and blood, standing monuments to a public health failure. Police and EMS logs have recorded hundreds of such cases weekly along this corridor. But we must remember, these are people. Beneath the contorted posture is a human being with a history. They are ordinary human beings from different backgrounds, now enduring a quiet struggle. That man leaning against the storefront might have been a union carpenter. That woman slumped on the bench might have been a mother who baked birthday cakes. This stance of despair reminds us how fragile stability can be. It forces us to confront the limitations of the human body when subjected to toxic stress. It forces us to look at the intersection of biology and poverty. How easily can life's pressures push anyone closer to the edge than they ever expected? We share these realities not to shock, but to understand the true human cost behind the frozen silhouettes on the sidewalk. These are not zombies, a term that strips them of their humanity. They are people in a state of extreme medical distress, waiting for a hand to pull them back to the surface. Part 5. The Roots of the Collapse, Why Kensington? To truly understand why Kensington looks the way it does today, we have to look backward. Kensington's current state is the result of a confluence of long-standing economic pressures and historical abandonment. This was once a vibrant industrial enclave, known as the workshop of the world. In the mid-20th century, the factories lining Frankfurt Avenue hummed with the sound of textile mills, carpet manufacturers, and steelworks. These factories provided employment for over 50,000 individuals. A person could graduate high school on Friday and start a job on Monday that would support a family for 40 years. But the massive job losses of the late 20th century saw over 10,000 manufacturing positions vanish in a single decade. The factories closed, the windows were boarded up, and the capital fled to the suburbs or overseas. Today, the poverty rate in the neighborhood has climbed to 45%, nearly double the national average. When the jobs left, the identity of the neighborhood fractured. This historical downturn intersects with modern realities like soaring property taxes and gentrification. In 2026, many long-term residents on fixed incomes find their homes unpayable. As developers move in from the trendy neighborhoods of Fishtown and Northern Liberties, property values rise, pushing the taxes up. For a grandmother living on a pension in a house she has owned for 30 years, this tax hike is an eviction notice. It pushes them onto the streets where the weight of debt compounds every decision. Median rents in Philadelphia have surged, making affordable housing a distant dream for low-income households. The wait list for Section 8 housing vouchers is years long. Imagine the quiet desperation of a working parent, juggling multiple jobs, maybe driving for a rideshare app by day and cleaning offices by night, only to face an eviction notice because a single utility bill or a medical emergency devoured what little remained after. This scenario has driven a significant rise in homelessness citywide. In Kensington, these pressures manifest in makeshift camps where economic voids are filled by substance dependency. The absence of a home amplifies every hardship. The chill of the night becomes hypothermia. The ache of hunger becomes malnutrition, and the profound isolation becomes a mental health crisis. It is a perfect storm of deindustrialization, gentrification, and the shredding of the social safety net. Part 6. Daily Survival. Life on the concrete. In the unyielding expanse of Kensington's alleys, daily existence is a relentless test of endurance. Without a secure shelter, every routine is transformed into a profound challenge. Let's walk through 24 hours in the life of someone living on this concrete. Mornings begin not with an alarm, but with the stark reality of waking on cold pavement. Your joints are stiff from the hard ground. You are exposed to biting winds or rain that soaks through your only layers of clothing. If it rained the night before, your socks are wet, and you know that wet socks lead to trench foot, a painful condition that can lead to infection. Your first thought is not breakfast, it is survival. Where can I find a bathroom? Hygiene becomes a near impossibility. Without access to running water or private facilities, basic acts like cleaning oneself become public ordeals. You might use a bottle of water to wash your face in a reflection of a shop window. You might wait for a library to open to use a restroom, hoping the security guard doesn't turn you away because of your appearance. This fosters a deep-seated erosion of self-respect. When you cannot stay clean, you feel invisible or worse, despised. Foraging for food often means queuing at overburdened charity points. You might stand in line for an hour for a sandwich and a cup of soup. Meals are sparse, and competition is fierce. If you miss the window for the soup kitchen, you're left scavenging or asking strangers for help. Possessions must be constantly guarded. Your entire life, your birth certificate, your warm coat, your family photos, is often carried in a single weathered backpack or a shopping cart. You cannot leave it to go into a store. You cannot leave it to go to a job interview. It is an anchor that keeps you tethered to the street. Sleeping is done with one eye open, guarding your things against theft. This turns rest into a state of hypervigilance that exhausts both the mind and body. Sleep deprivation leads to psychosis, making it even harder to navigate the path out of homelessness. Evenings bring no respite. As the sun sets, the temperature drops and the danger rises. Finding a spot to lie down involves navigating crowded pavements littered with debris and biological hazards. The noise of the city, the sirens, the shouting, the trains disrupts any attempt at sleep. You are afraid. You are fatigued. While emergency placements exist, the majority find themselves caught in a cycle of dodging hazards and enduring the isolation of being overlooked by a society that drives past them every day. Part 7. Harm reduction. Doors slightly ajar. In the midst of this hardship, dedicated individuals and organizations step in with quiet acts of kindness. This is the world of harm reduction. It is a philosophy that says, we will keep you alive today so that you have a chance at recovery tomorrow. Prevention Point Philadelphia has become a lifeline in this community. They operate out of a converted church, a sanctuary in the chaos. They distribute medication that reverses the effects of overdose, empowering community members to save lives in moments of crisis. These efforts go beyond numbers. It's about a volunteer handing out a hygiene kit, fresh socks, soap, a toothbrush, with a warm smile. It is about acknowledging the person as someone with dignity, someone who deserves to be clean. Groups like the Savage Sisters extend this human touch. They set up tables on the sidewalk, providing essentials and gentle conversations. They dress wounds. They offer water. They listen. In a world that shouts at these individuals to move along, these volunteers say, come here, sit down. Trust is built one interaction at a time. A person might take a bottle of water today, a sandwich tomorrow, and in a month, they might ask for help getting into treatment. While emergency shelter beds have increased, the demand still far outweighs the supply. The shelters are often full by late afternoon. For the hundreds who do find a temporary roof, these spaces become havens where the weight of isolation can lift, even if just for a night. But for many, the barriers are high. Restrictions on pets, partners, or possessions keep them outside. Outreach workers who remember names and preferences foster a bond that says, you are not alone. They remember that Mike takes sugar in his coffee. They remember that Sarah is looking for a size 8 shoe. It is these small, heartfelt gestures that chip away at the barriers of despair. This work reminds us that life's twists could lead any of us to seek similar compassion. It highlights our common vulnerabilities and proves that even in the darkest corners, the light of human kindness still flickers. Part 8. The path to renewal, government, and oversight. Kensington's landscape is beginning to evolve as city workers, volunteers, and government officials forge new paths toward stability. The problem is massive, but the response is finally becoming coordinated. The One Philly plan, announced in late 2025 by the new administration, aims to end street homelessness by bringing thousands of new shelter beds online. These aren't just mats on a floor. They represent warm refuges where individuals can finally exhale and begin piecing their lives back together. The plan focuses on a triage model, assessing needs on the street and connecting people immediately to the right level of care, whether that is housing, medical detox, or mental health support. Ongoing encampment resolutions are shifting from police-led sweeps to service-led engagements. Outreach teams gently offer services and shelter weeks in advance, helping people transition from the harshness of the street to a safer environment. It is a slow process, and it is not without friction, but the goal is to stop the cycle of simply moving people from one block to another. Vocational programs are also gaining ground. Initiatives such as those at the Riverview Wellness Village provide not only a place to stay, but also job training and addiction support. This integrated approach allows someone to rediscover their skills. A former mechanic picks up a wrench again. A former chef steps back into a kitchen. They see the prospect of a fresh start. in a neighborhood that holds 35% of the city's unsheltered population. These developments offer ripples of hope. Listening to community voices is transforming vacant lots into affordable homes. Community land trusts are ensuring that as the neighborhood improves, the people who live there aren't pushed out. It is a gentle reflection that a lost job or a health setback could lead any of us to seek such understanding networks, and that the government has a duty to build a floor beneath which no citizen can fall. Part 9. The Human Reflection, a call for empathy. As the threads of Kensington's story weave together, it is the quiet humanity that leaves the deepest impression. We have seen the darkness, but we must also see the light. The shared glances of understanding among strangers. The unhoused man who shares his sandwich with a stray dog. The woman who sweeps the sidewalk in front of her tent to keep it tidy. The persistence of hope amid life's toughest turns. We must look ahead to a future where affordable housing blooms from collaborative efforts, where mental health support is integrated with job opportunities. Recovery should not be a solitary battle fought in the shadows. It should be a supported evolution celebrated in the light. With national homelessness rising, the urgency of these innovative approaches has never been greater. We must prioritize dignity. We must stop asking what is wrong with you and start asking what happened to you. We must turn temporary aid into lasting independence. We must realize that the health of a city is measured not by its skyscrapers, but by how it treats its most vulnerable citizens. This vision isn't distant. It is nurtured by everyday compassion. It's about recognizing how a sudden financial setback or personal loss could draw any of us into similar circumstances. On Homeless US, sharing these insights is about igniting that spark of collective care that can transform lives, one empathetic step at a time. It is about realizing that we are all just one bad break away from needing a hand up. Parte 10. De reflexion outro. Kensington is a place of immense pain, but it is also a place of immense resilience. The people we have met today, the mill workers who lost their pensions, the mothers fighting for their children, the young adults searching for identity, are not statistics. They are the heartbeat of a community that refuses to be forgotten. They are the mirror held up to our national soul. The crisis in Philadelphia asks us a hard question. Are we willing to see the person behind the stance of despair? Are we willing to look past the addiction and see the trauma? Are we willing to look past the tent and see the human being? We want to hear from you. How did this story make you feel? Have you noticed the concentrated crisis in your own city? Do you see the fracture lines in your own community? Please share your thoughts and your emotions in the comments below. We read every one of them, and your voice helps us keep this mission alive. Your stories fuel our journey. If you believe that every human life deserves dignity, that housing is a human right, and that no one should be left to wake up on cold concrete in the richest nation on earth, please support this channel. Like this video to help the algorithm bring visibility to these human stories. Subscribe to Homeless US and turn on a notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation into the heart of America. Your engagement is the only thing that keeps this project running. Share this video with your friends and family. The more people who see the truth, the harder it becomes for the world to look away. The silence ends when we start talking. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring. We will see you in the next story. Together, we can make the invisible visible. This is Jack for HomelessU.S signing off.